What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day as always. Today's video, we're going over some mistakes that I made when I was building my Jeep. And this is just kind of a heads up video to where if you're considering building your Jeep or if you're in the process, some things to try to avoid so that way you can save a little bit of money. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so before we get started, let's go over the giveaway winner from last video. Keep in mind we are giving away a free decal pack every single video we upload from here on out. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment your Instagram username down below. So with that being said, let's go over last video's winner. The winner of last video's giveaway is Mohawk_YJ on Instagram. Make sure you check your DMs. We're sending you a message to get shipping information. Alright guys, so when you start building your Jeep, it can seem like a super big thing. You don't really know where to start. So this video is going to be some tips for if you're building your Jeep, some mistakes to look out for. I've personally made these mistakes, just things that you keep in mind while you're building your Jeep. So the first one is, before we even get started, plan out your entire build and what you want your Jeep to be like in the end. That prevents you from making the mistake of buying parts you don't really want and then changing it in the future, so then you spend more money than you would have originally. For example, I always knew that I wanted to go 40s eventually, but for some reason when I started building my Jeep, I went 37s. I got wheels I didn't really want too much, and the whole setup was not exactly what I wanted. So that being said, had I just planned ahead a little bit more, I would have known that I wanted to go 40s. I wouldn't have spent the money on 37s, the wheels for 37s, and then also had to go out and buy a set of 40s a few months later, buy a set of beadlocks. I could have done it all in one go, saved probably about $1,500 right there alone, which could have been put towards further mods on the Jeep. Another mistake that I made when I was building my Jeep is there were rock sliders and a rear bumper that I did want, but at the time I couldn't afford. So I chose a cheaper option that I liked at the time, but after using it a bunch, I'm not really happy with how they've held up, how they've performed. So with that being said, if there's a part that, say, you have to wait another 2 months of saving money to afford, my recommendation is that you wait that couple months, save up a little bit more, and buy that part that you really want right now. So that way, later down the line, you don't have to spend more money replacing the parts that you got with the parts you really want. You'll save some money. Just put the money that you were going to spend on the cheaper parts towards the parts that you really want. The third mistake that a lot of people make, I've made myself, is that before you start building your Jeep, think about what you're going to be using your Jeep for. You don't have to build it to the exact specs that someone else builds their Jeep to. Plan your build around what your Jeep is going to be built for. For example, my Jeep mainly goes off-roading maybe twice a month, once a month, something like that for a weekend. Goes to a lot of events with me, sets up at booths, things along those lines. So that being said, I don't have to build like an insane off-road build since I don't really get to go off-roading that often right now because I don't have a truck. So build your Jeep around how you plan on using it, the things you're going to use it for. If you're going to daily it, keep that in mind while you're building it. Just keep all of those things in mind when you're picking out the parts for your Jeep, what you're really going to need. Another big thing, this is probably one of the bigger mistakes that I've made while building my Jeep, is tires. So tires are something that you want a quality set of. You don't want to cheap out on tires at all. You also want to keep in mind what you're going to be using your Jeep for, whether you go to the beach, whether you're in the mud, rocks, on the road a lot, and some trails. Things like that are things you want to keep in mind when you're picking out your tires. I made the mistake of going with pretty cheap tires at one point. It was when I was still in 37s, and I probably ran them for a month and a half max, and then I had to take them off and I had to go buy new tires because I just hated those tires so much. They did really good in the mud. They were awful on the street, and they weren't very good on the rocks or anything like that. So I had to go spend more money on top of the tires I already bought to replace them. And then I was stuck with a set of probably 90-95% tread 37s that I did not like, that did not perform well, and that were just overall not very good tires. So definitely keep in mind what you're going to be using your Jeep for and buy a quality set of tires. And the biggest thing that I want to change on my Jeep that I wish I had done initially is the suspension. So I went with a short arm suspension setup, a 4-inch lift, and there's nothing wrong with it. It works amazingly for what it is, but I really want long arms, especially for the extra articulation off-road. Long arms are just the way to go for what I want. So I wish that I hadn't spent the money on short arms and a normal lift kit initially when I was building the Jeep. However, I was just so eager to get it lifted, get it built, that I went with short arms. I didn't really look into the long arm option. So now I have to go buy another set of long arms, replace the suspension that's under my Jeep. So with all those being said, guys, my biggest thing that you can take away from this video is plan out your entire build before you get started. Write it down on a piece of paper, in the notes on your phone, pick out the exact parts you want, pick out everything that you want done to your Jeep, and just do all the parts that you want first. Even if it means taking 2 extra years to build your Jeep, it's definitely worth it in the end when you're done with your final product. You don't have to replace as many parts, you get to have the parts you want straight away. It's just the way to go, in my opinion, when you're building your Jeep. So if you guys have any other tips for people considering building their Jeeps, make sure you guys leave those down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.